Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, Episode 4, a Cornish Let's Play series of me, Cornish-knight, as we dive back into the story of Jason and his latest day in the Hollow. We just, in the last episode, had a thorough look around Scarlet Hollow for Stella. We can't find her anywhere. Jason is becoming a bit concerned. More than a little concerned. We had a very odd cup of tea with Sylvie, where some things were happening that may or may not be as they seemed. And now we find ourselves dragged back up the hill to basically the clinic, where we believe there might be a lead, or something is guiding us here at any rate. It is a pull we cannot deny, and Jason finds himself walking back up the slope, only to see that there are ditchlings everywhere. But he does have a way in. We'll go with this one. You've aged at least a decade in the past day. That's got to be a medical anomaly, right? Maybe you can see if Dr. Kelly can give you a checkout while you figure out a way to explore the rest of the clinic. You open the door to the clinic. It creaks loudly on its hinges. The interior feels surprisingly modern compared to its exterior, though you can still glimpse the ornate bones of the building peeking through in the decorative mouldings and overly complicated banister lining the stairway. You can feel that odd sensation again, that nagging pull of whatever it was that wanted you to find it. But before it can drag you too far into the clinic, Dr. Kelly puts aside paperwork and makes her way down the hall. Hello? Can I help you? She asks, in slight bemusement. What the hell happened to you? You look like you've aged at least a decade since last night, she says as he recognizes you. Let's go with... you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I think I need to see a doctor. Let's go with Ghost Made Me Old. Let's go with that one. Ghost Made Me Old, you say? Did it now, says Dr. Kelly. Well, it definitely looks like something happened to you. The exam room is just to your right, he says. The doctor directs you down a hallway, and you follow her into the clinic's exam room. I'm just going to start with some general diagnostics, but I'd also like to do some blood work too, if you're amenable to that. She presses the the metal of her stethoscope to your chest. Yeah, we have to go with that one. To say blood work, I hate needles. Let's go with that one. Did you say blood work? I hate needles, you stammer. Yes, unless you don't want to know what's wrong with you, I'm going to need to draw some blood. Why are the toughest looking people always the biggest babies around needles? Mutters the doctor. Let's go with... Have you heard from Stella? No one knows where she is, you inquire. Dr. Kelly briefly removes her stethoscope from her chest. Stella's missing? She questions. This is the first I've heard about it. I haven't seen her, she replies. I'll make sure to check with Reese. I know he hears from her pretty frequently. But let's finish this up first. She places the stethoscope back on your chest. Let's go with that. You seem to take the whole ghost thing at face value, Jason states. Look, I have no idea what happened to you last night. It completely defies anything I know about medical science, says the woman. And until your condition starts to make sense, I think it's easiest for both of us if I just take what you told me at face value. That's a really interesting stance to take. Let's go with... Yeah, he's probably going to be quiet and let the doc work. I mean, Out of the options we have, tell me, Doc. I'm telling you, Doc, I'm old because magic. It's not some kind of disease. Probably, actually, since we're in America, that's actually probably the main concern. We'll be able to go with that. Will I have to pay for this, you ask? Shush, says Dr. Kelly. No, I'm doing this for free. I don't care whether you're insured or not. You'll clearly need medical attention. I'm not letting a bill get in the way of that. So, is the heart murmur new? She inquires with a concerned look. No doctor has ever said you had a heart murmur. Before she can answer, she attaches a blood pressure cuff to your arm, inflating it with a few quick pumps of the bulb. The ends of your fingers tingle numbly as the cuff constricts. Yeah, we're going to go with the powerful build. I tend to go, when I'm playing this game, I tend to always go with the trait options for dialogue, unless there's a really good reason not to. Heart murmur, but I'm supposed to live forever. What have I been working towards all these years, if not health eternal? You stammer. Maybe you shouldn't have pissed off a ghost, whatever it was you did last night. Seems like it was pretty detrimental to your health. I don't know if any amount of working out will help be able to fix it, says Dr. Kelly. Not that you should stop trying, though. Your fitness is going to do you a lot of good in coming back from what happened to you. The pressure on your arm finally releases. Blood rushes back to your fingertips. Your blood pressure is fine, a bit higher than I expect for someone with your level of fitness, she admits. Let me know if you feel any pain. The doctor leans over, using her forefingers to prod your abdomen. She steadies you with a genuine hand on your shoulder. So let's see what options we have. Most of them seem reasonable to ask. Let's go with that one. So have you noticed any ditch things yet? You inquire. It's a long quiet. Maybe I've seen some weird things outside the windows of Mr. Doctor. I don't know what they are. I won't jump to any conclusions yet. But there's definitely something weird. There's definitely some weird stuff going on around town that defies logic. You're proof enough of that. Let's go with... Yeah, he'll probably give it that. Let's go with that one. Do you have something against me? You state. Jason states, when I first showed up, you were kind of scary, and you still are, he admits. The doctor sighs. You have a feeling like the jabs... You feel like the jabs to your torso get a little softer. Yeah, people tell me that, she admits. I'm a brash person. It's just a part of who I am. I don't mean to come off as rude. Plus, Stella and Kanika sew up with you in tow meant I would have to be the tough parent and turn you all away, and I hate having to do that. It's probably made me even pricklier than I needed to be, she admits. In my defense, I'm just being protective. Reese's health was a difficult point and probably will be for the rest of his life. It means I have to be more strict than I'd like. But I'm sorry I let that impact the way I've spoken to you. I'll try to be more thoughtful, she admits. I like the fact they've actually put a flirt option in. Just out of context, the developers have actually stated that though all the romances are in the game now, like all the romance characters are in the game, not all like the beginnings of romances have yet to be shown. It'll be interesting if you can actually romance Dr. Kelly going forward, because that could have some very interesting implications. Let's go with that. I'm interested in your thoughts on folklore around town, you inquire. We really don't need to do small talk, says Dr. Kelly. Do you know Sylvie well? You inquire. Keen-eyed, the doctor stiffens at the question. Of course, she doesn't like Sylvie. Dr. Kelly doesn't seem to be the type to get along with anyone. Small talk it is then, she mutters. I know her as well as anybody else. She's yet another resident of Scarlet Hollow who would rarely come to see me more often. Sorry. I know her as well as anybody else. She's yet another resident of Scarlet Hollow who should really come to see me more often, but she has her own ideas about health. She seems to think drinking a gallon of tea a day will grant her immortality, she mutters. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of her when she realises that's not the case. Did you know my mum well? I did. We were friends growing up, admits the doctor. She was sarcastic but nice. I liked that about her. A hell of a lot more pleasant to be around than her sister. What did you think of Perlina? Vivian and I used to joke that she was the evil twin, though I'm not sure you can call it a joke if it's just true. Sorry, I really shouldn't speak ill of the dead. Do you know any history about my family? Of course I do. Folks around here learn all the important myths about your family, says Dr. Kelly. The whole bootstrap thing with Siles, the founding of the town by mighty Andrew J. Scarlet, and of course the big collapse and evil Charles Shaw who gets all the blame. Your family is a big deal in this town, of course I know about them. Only as much as anyone else, though, I'm not really into local history. I'd like to know more about the clinic. Well, it was an old hospital during the Civil War, then one of those clean air clinics. Then around the time of the collapse it was converted back into a hospital, but it lost most of its funding as people left town, so now it's just a doctor's office. With an astronomical heating bill, all the massive windows and glass doors make this an icebox in the winter. What happened here after the sewer mine collapse? I suppose the only thing I know was that the average residents of the Hollow might not... is that the collapse was the reason this was converted into a proper hospital. The wounded were brought here where there were beds and medical supplies, and that pushed out the last dregs of the clean air kooks. Nobody thought the air around here was clean after a coal mine collapse filled it with ash, and the theory was already on its way out at that point. Let's go with that. Sounds like it'd be ghosts. Have you ever seen any? No, says Dr. Kelly, and neither has Reese, so don't try to weasel your way into seeing him again under the guise of asking if he's seen any dead soldiers or miners or whatever. Jason's not got to say that, because it's like, there's no point. Like this the thing is, like, he's trying to be subtle, and that's just not subtle. Let's go with that. I really appreciate you looking out for me, Doc. No problem, just doing my job. I'd feel negligent if I saw someone go through what you've gone through and didn't step in, even if there's not much I can do to help. I'd like to check out your lungs. Can you breathe into this for me? Make sure you keep a tight seal on it. You place the mouthpiece against your lips. Now blow hard. And keep going until you're out of air, okay? You do your best. You can tell your lungs aren't quite what they used to be. Okay, she mutters. Yeah, that's what I expected, given everything else, she admits. Again, I don't have the data from before, but judging by your age and what I'm able to tell from a quick once-over, it looks like you're the equivalent of at least a decade older, and not a good decade, she admits. I'm guessing the blood work is going to show about the same. She goes to a drawer and retrieves a needle. Are you going to be brave for me? Getting the blood work done right now is very important. Quietly accept your fate. Yeah. There's no way out of this. You quietly accept your fate and wait for the needle to pierce your flesh. You'll barely feel it, I promise, says the doctor. She inserts the needle She was wrong. You definitely felt it. But it doesn't last long. Anita slides back out quickly, and she puts a cotton ball on the tiny hole in your skin, pasting a band-aid over the top to seal in your vital juices. There, see? That's all we needed. That's all we had to do. Not bad at all. Alright, that's all we can do for now. I'll make sure to notify you when I get the results, and I'll send them to your GP. Do you have a regular doctor back home, right? Well, considering this is America, if I recall correctly, I believe Jason said his work was that he worked in like the services industry, so it's likely that he doesn't even have health insurance. I don't have health insurance, you admit. Oh, I see. Well, I'll give you a copy and hold on to one for my records, I suppose, mutters Dr. Kelly. You should look into getting some kind of health insurance, even something off the marketplace. Marketplace is better than nothing, especially since she glances at your newly aged face. Probably going to want to start getting regular checkups, she advises. You're free to go. You know how to find the door. She starts busying herself with cleaning up her equipment. She is distracted, at least for a few minutes. Good, your appointment is done, and you're free to explore as you please. Or rather, you're free to explore as you please. You're being caught by the pull of the object, an overwhelming curiosity guiding you around a corner towards a dark doorway under the stairs. It's been left ajar as if inviting you to enter. Turn on the lights. The lights click on. You're in the morgue. Jason, says Reese as he pushes himself up. He squints, seemingly unsure of whether you're the same person he met yesterday. What are you doing in the morgue? He says. Yeah, he's probably going to go with this one. Now, have you seen Stella around? You haven't seen Stella around, have you? She's been missing since last night, you say. I haven't. Did you think you'd find her in the morgue, says Reese? His words seem distant to you. The tugging is strong down here. You can almost feel yourself slipping into a trance, and your eyes wander to the back wall of the morgue. You need to see what's back there. Follow the pull. You touch the wall. It feels disappointingly solid under your palms. Hey, are you okay? Says Reese. You feel Reese's hand gently shake your shoulder for a moment. The thing on the left side of the blank white wall loosens its pull on you. You kind of looked possessed for a second. You good? Make him understand. Okay, probably Jason's is going to be completely blunt because there's a stone carving on the other side of that wall and I need to see it. Let's go with that one. There's a stone carving on the other side of that wall and I need to see it, you mutter. Reese glances back at the wall. You're really serious, aren't you? He whispers. This is probably a bad idea, but if you really need to get into there, I'm pretty sure there's an emergency axe somewhere upstairs. I just need to get the dock out of our hair, so take 2 seconds. Powerful build. Why use axes when I have these arms? Why not just break it? Why use axe when I have arms? Why not just break arm with fist? So I think it's supposed to be wall. I'm not an expert, but I guess it would be more efficient for you to use those big arms to wield an axe instead of tearing into the wall like some kind of wild animal, though that would be super cool to see. Be right back, says Reese. He strides past you, his long legs moving swiftly. He seems excited, his usual demeanour replaced with uncharacteristic perp when faced with the prospect of sneaking around and tearing down walls. You hear his soft voice filtering in through the open doorway at the top of the stairs, a hoarse and sickly edge added for the effect as he speaks to his mother. Hey, Mum. He coughs gently. Reese, I didn't know you were awake, says Dr. Kelly. Still feel a little shit, but I think I can finally try to keep some juice down. It looks like we're all out, though. Really? I thought I just pick some up, says Dr. Kelly. I'll go. I've got an errand to run on Main Street anyway. I'll go pick up some orange juice and some ginger ale too. That would be awesome. Sorry to ask. I know you're probably busy. It's no problem. It doesn't take long. Don't do anything too strenuous while I'm gone. Just lie in bed until I get back. Thanks, Mum. I'll take it easy. You hear her footsteps move down the hall, then the front door opening and closing. It works, says Reese. The theatric rasp has left his voice, excitement rising in its place. Come up, we don't have long until she's back. As you step out of the morgue, you relax. The extra space between you and the carving has weakened its hold on you, and with it your desperation to claw your way through the wall and unveil it. It's one of those emergency fire axes, so it should be pretty obvious wherever it is. But I'm not sure where she would be keeping it, he admits. I'll show you around. Let's try the doc's office first. You make your way to the doorway of her now vacant office. I don't see an axe in here, admits Reese. He's right. A cursory glance reveals nothing but stacks of papers and cabinets of medical supplies. But something on the desk catches your eye. Some sort of record with your family name on them. Reese stops in the doorway, turning to watch you leaf through the documents. Find something interesting, he asks. They're your family's death certificates. Let's start with Paulina's. Cause of death, sleep apnea, discovered by her daughter Tabitha Chrysanthemum Scarlet. No autopsy performed. Tabitha's middle name is Chrysanthemum. Wonder who cursed her with that mouthful, says Reese. I feel like that. Yeah, let's put it like. I feel like that was forbidden knowledge, you would mutter. Edwina's death, that's our grandmother. Born April the 9th, 1913, died February the 12th, 2003, aged 89, cause of death, heart failure, signed by her granddaughter, Paulina Scarlet. Oh no, it's her great-granddaughter, yeah. Great-granddaughter. It's our great-grandmother, sorry, yeah. Pretty normal, almost made it to 90, died of a normal old person illness. Enoch's death. Enoch Scarlet. Born September the 9th, 1887, died August the 20th, 1957. Age 68, cause of death, falling from cliff. This one has a coroner's report attached. Organs sustained impact injuries. Lacerations to the neck and body consistent with falling from great height. Whoa, an actual autopsy report? Looks ancient, says Reese. You quickly flip through the other Scarlets whose names aren't quite as familiar. Theodore Scarlet, born May 24th, 1890, died 1918, age 28, cause of death, crushed in a mine collapse, body not recovered, signed by his brother Enoch Scarlet. Yeah, because we know in the law, we know from our investigations that Theodore was the heir apparent, and he dies in the mine collapse. Joseph Scarlet, born April 1914, died June the 7th, 1944. Louis Scarlet, born August 1920, died June the 6th, 1944. They died one day apart. Both killed at Normandy in the line of duty. There must have been Edwina's brothers. Ah, that explains it. Certifications of fatal death. Infant boy Andrew Charles Scarlet. Delivered April the 3rd, 1945. Stillbirth. Mother Edwina Scarlet. Ah. Okay. Yeah, so that's what happened to the ghost. Because we found out from the previous chapter, the day 3, that Charles had got Edwina pregnant. So, unfortunately, yeah, Cause of death, complications during birth. No doctor present. Home burial. Which suggests that Enoch... It suggests that Enoch basically killed his own grandson because it was of the child, because the child had a child with Edwina, so he killed the baby. My goodness, that's dark. Alexandra Scarlet, born July 12, 1946, died August 20th, 1957, age 9, missing, presumed dead, signed by mother Edwina Scarlet. Okay, so she has another child. And then the child goes missing and is presumed dead. Isn't that around the time that August 20th, 1957? Isn't that around the time that Enoch dies? Mary Bell Scarlet. We have a picture of her in our room. She's the lady in the picture above her bedroom. Born April the 3rd, 1948. Died October the 30th, 1964. Age 16. Cause of death, complications during childbirth. Signed by her mother, Edwina Scarlet. Okay, that's our grandmother. That's what happened. That's our grandmother. So she's 16 when she died. So twins. In that time period, to be a single mother in that time period would have been pretty controversial. Well, that's a lot of kids to outlive, says Reese. Reese's eyes flicker to the doorway. A second later, you hear the sounds of the front door handle being turned. His hand is on your shoulder before you even register what's happening, and you're pushed back and out of view of the front door. Shit, I'm not supposed to be in here. Gotta hide, he mutters. He hurries to the closet door, motioning you inside. You slip inside and squeeze yourself into what little space is available in the nearly full closet. Reese is close on your heels. Yeah, let's let him in. You let him in. Together you listen as the doctor makes her way to some room deeper in the clinic. In the silence of the tiny closet, every breath seems too loud, as if you could expect Dr. Kelly to hear it from wherever she was across the house. We better wait a second, just in case, mutters Reese. Let's keep our distance. You press yourself against the boxes in the back of the closet, trying to avoid being seen through the small slit in the door. The two of you stand in tense silence, both crammed into the suffocating closet, taking shallow breaths as if she can hear you breathing from the other side of the building. But the footsteps soon return. Dr. Kelly makes her way back towards your hiding place, carrying floorboards, creaking floorboards broadcasting her location all the way to the hallway just outside your hiding spot. Footsteps return. They get louder, approaching the opened office door, and then they stop. Much to your relief, she opens another door, leaving the main clinic. We're in the clear, says Reese. We've probably only got a minute or two until she comes back, so let's make it count. The medical supply room is probably our best bet, he says. If any other room in the clinic is likely to have a fire axe, it's probably the room full of chemicals. This way. He motions you down a hallway, slipping through the slightly ajar door of what you assume to be the supply room. Yes, there it is, he says as he looks at the axe on the wall. Keys, says Reese. Here we go, he says as he waves a pair of keys at you. He rushes over to the cabinet that contains a bright red axe, pulling the glass door open. Your axe, he says. Keen eye. A splash of brown catches your eye. There's a small sprig of what almost looks like furry berries with a weird 8-pronged leaf still attached at the base. The end of the sprig is leaking sap onto the countertop. It's fresh. Now we can... Keen eye. Reese stops mid-sentence as he notices you staring at the plant. He stops to pick it up. Does he make her own medicine? He mutters. He puts it down, but not before breaking off a berry and sliding it into his pocket. I don't think he's allowed to do that. She's not a pharmacist. This room is just for storing stuff she orders for patients from a pharmacist in Brevard. Why would she be making her own? He mutters. Before you can answer, the two of you hear something in the distance and in turn listen intently. Back towards the door from the house. Come on. If we hurry, we can get you back downstairs. I'll run interference, go downstairs quickly. You can hear her approaching now, floorboards creaking in the hallway on the other side of the office. You follow Reese's instructions, once again starting down the basement stairs, letting the pull of the stone carving guide you back to the morgue. Dr. Kelly's voice filters down from above. I was right, says Dr. Kelly. We did already have juice. It was just in the back of the fridge, but there's no harm in having extra. What are you doing in the clinic? I thought I told you to go rest, she inquires. Oh, I'm just going to chill in the morgue. I've got my speakers, so if you hear some weird sounds, it's just my music, says Reese. I'll be sure to put on earplugs to drown out all that industrial clanging you listen to, says Dr. Kelly. You know I'm not the biggest fan of you spending time down there. It can't be good for your mental health to hang out in a refrigerator for corpses. Do you at least have a blanket this time? Yeah, I'll be fine. It's just a change of scenery. My room feels too claustrophobic right now, says Reese. Okay. Let me know when it's time for dinner. I'll let you know when it's time for dinner, the doctor says. You hear the door at the top of the stairs close and the sound of Reese descending the stairs to join you in the phosphorescent lit room below. Hey, says Reese. Okay. Probably should do that one. I should warn you, something spooky might happen when we break down that wall, says Jason. Reese smiles. Good. Feels like I've been missing out lately, he admits. Stop asking questions. It's time to see what's on the other side of that wall. But I think this is a good place to end it for the day, Lord and ladies. I know this is a slightly shorter episode than normal. But judging by how long the last chapter was, we're probably starting to get to like the critical point. So I don't want to sort of make a massively long episode this time and have a really short one. I'd rather have a balanced episode for this episode and for next episode. So I've been Cornish-knight. This has been Scarlet Hollow Chapter 4, or Episode 4, a Cornish Let's Play series with me, and we dive back into our adventures of Jason in the Hollow. And tune in for next week for what is probably going to be the penultimate episode of this chapter of Jason's story, and we shall see what happens next time. Keep an eye out, folks. Goodbye.